So potential limitations. So it's not a massive project as it's only basically targeting 500 female coaches. So therefore, that possibly over through the years, they can then develop the project and expand throughout wide areas throughout the UK. But at the moment, it's a very small project, and there's not too much coaches being produced out of this project. Also, the male domination. So basically, in sport, it's very male dominated and it's very competitive. So there might not be a lot of clubs and there might not be a lot of chances for female coaches once they have got all the qualifications. So there might not be the same sort of jobs that male coaches actually have today. Also, cultural barriers. Once again, looking back at ethnicity as well. Um, Looking back through them, and some female coaches, some religions don't accept female coaches, and they don't accept women who take part in sports. So therefore, it might be quite hard for them to find a job once they do get all the qualifications. So sort of like the male domination, it might just be a limitation to finding a suitable job that they want to basically have. And then the last scenario then, so the last one basically around school sport games. So here we have Sarah then. So Sarah has ability impairment. She does not participate with her class in PE lessons as much as she would like to. She is determined and competitive, however, by nature, but is unable to compete in the school's netball team. So she's obviously got an interest for sport and she obviously wants to take part in sport, but her mobility impairment therefore prevents her from taking part in netball. So barriers and cultures then. So as I just said, she has a mobility impairment. So that basically, so quite a lot of schools don't cover people who have certain disabilities, which prevent them from taking part in sports. So they don't have the facilities or they don't have the qualifications actually to look after them and basically develop the sport around them. So therefore, it's going to be hard for Sarah to actually take part in netball and take part in the PE lessons. So she does not take part in PE lessons. So I put in brackets here fitness levels. So it's not her fault that she can't take part in PE lessons. But if she was to take part in PE lessons all of a sudden, her fitness levels could be very low as she hasn't been taking part in any possibly any exercise through PE lesson. So therefore, if she was to take part with other people, she might basically start heavy breathing, or she might basically suffer from other effects due to her lack of fitness. Unable to compete. So, as you can see in the picture here, this is a normal 100 meters event, as you would find on sports day, for example. As she has mobility impairment, it's very hard to basically adapt the sport and change the sport so that other people can basically take part. Like Sarah for herself, it can be very hard for her to take part in events like this and like netball, as there's not a lot of people who have the same sort of disability, and it's hard to even out the playing field, in short. Um, and also she might not fit in, so she might not fit in with people around her. So in the netball team, they might not get along, and it's basically an easy sign of bullying. Bullying can definitely happen through any sport really, because she might not have, as I said about the fitness level, she might not have the right fitness level, she might not have the right skills in that sport, so she might not fit in. So then the cultural barriers then, so we have socio-economic and gender. So she's a woman again. So as I said before, with the female and about Project 500, and especially how she has a mobility impairment as well. Having both together, that's a definite bad mix through sport, and there might not be a lot of opportunities for her. So that's when school sport games basically comes in to try and help her and get her involved in sport and socioeconomics. So she might basically has a mobility impairment. It basically The family therefore have to spend a lot of money, and they have to go through a lot of different resources, go through lots of different facilities, basically a lot of equipment, so that she can basically live and go through life. So therefore, that can prevent them from focusing on her fitness and her general health. So therefore, they might not have, the family might not have the right expensive and the right amount of monies for her to succeed and go on. So, what is school sport games and how can they help then? So basically, school sport games are basically based around events in schools. There's 4 different tiers to it, so they have 4 different parts to it. So they have the intra-school, the inter-school, the county, and the national schools. So the intra-school is basically competitions within the school. Inter-school is basically other schools against each other. So basically, in East Sussex, in the Lewisham district area, we have this thing in primary schools. And it's basically like a lot of different schools around Lewis district, and they basically just come together. So that would be the sort of inter-school level, and then you'd have the top athletes from that have been picked from that category. So from that area, they would then go forward to county level. So county level schools tournaments, playing all around the country, and then you'd have national schools, which is obviously the next level above. Um, so yeah, so basically, so it's a lot of different events in school and throughout school. So teachers and staff. So this is who runs it. So they have teachers and active staff. Who basically run school sport games. So they go to different schools, running all the different events. So they would look at each individual, pick them out, and basically move them forward in the stages of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the quality of school. And then we moved on to the quality of school competitions. So as you go along, the quality therefore increases. So you've got intra-school here, so that's basically within one school, and then we have other schools against each other, then we have county level, then we have national level. So it basically increases in intensity and increases the basically skill level of the athletes as they go down. And it's lottery funded as well. So it's funded by the lottery, and it's basically aiming to get the younger generation more involved in sport and develop their skills in sport. So evaluation of school sport games then. So what can they do to Louise? That's Sarah, sorry. So what can they do to Sarah, and basically the limitations of it as well. So there's volunteering opportunities, which is a definite benefit, as it gains experience for some people. If they want to go into coaching, for example, they get that experience of organising things, organising events, and also there's a variety. So there's a variety of different skill levels, and there's a variety of different people, a variety of different schools. There's a lot of things going on, and you meet lots of new people, and lots of people come together into one sort of community. So it's basically getting a lot of people together. It's sort of mass participation, but it's mainly sporting excellence, as it's trying to improve people's skills, the younger generation's skills in sport. So the limitations, however, so through stages 3 and 4, it begins to get very elite. And even in some of the lower stages, some people are just trying to take part for the fun of it. But however, there's a lot of people that are doing it for the competitive side. So therefore, it's a very competitive atmosphere, and it's not really focusing on mass participation. So therefore, they might not focus on. Sarah. I keep forgetting her name. They might not focus on Sarah as much, as she's basically just trying to get involved in sport. Whereas school sport games are sort of basically getting people to the elite level. So basically the target audience, she might not be within those fields. But however, as it's school sport games, they go to different schools, and they basically try to get everyone involved, try to see everyone's skills. So therefore, Sarah does get that opportunity to show her skills. So I'm sure school sport games will then come up with a way of trying to get her involved, making your sport suitable for her, so that she can join in with others as well. So health and well-being, is it based on health and well-being? So is it trying to help the younger generation become fitter and healthier, or is it just trying to get those elite athletes? So it's quite hard to see what area they're focusing on. As I said, it's very competitive throughout all the stages. So, I mean, kids like being. There's a lot of kids out there who love the competitiveness of sport, and some just like it for the fun. So obviously, the mix between the two, it kind of ruins the fun for some people and it ruins the competitive side for others. So it's quite hard to mix the two sides of people. So thank you for listening.